It is true. I would agree with that statement. Switch equals growth for our customers, the people that implement Switch, because automation is like the only way to stay profitable and grow your business, take on new opportunities, expand and diversify your business into other different areas. And of course, as a result of that, it's also fueling the growth of Enfocus. I'm happy to hear that you see it that way. It's true. We still have some regions that are not so familiar with PitStop, but in other regions like Europe and the US, it's a household brand. It's a well respected product, and I'm very happy that after more than 20 years since that originated in 1993, I believe it was, that we still see extra seats and an increased growth, continued growth of that. That has mainly to do with that we continue to innovate in the product, but also innovate the business model around it, which we're now selling mainly subscriptions also of the software, and have to kind of change the way we work and work on like customer success and helping the customer to get the most of the product rather than having this one-off sale mentality. This is a change for us, but it's working well. Exactly, so this doesn't come for free. So we have yearly subscriptions, or even monthly subscriptions for people that have peak periods and need extra seats for a limited amount of time. But they expect from us in each release, they expect to see improvements, they expect to see their issues changed. And you would say, aren't those issues the same as they have ever been? That's not true. Several companies have been expanding and growing into other sectors. They might be book printers before, but now they're all of a sudden doing large format, and that brings special needs, and we have to build those checks and fixes and editing tools into the PitStop solution. Good question, Morten. There is definitely competition, but we are seeing that with Switch, we address different needs than your typical, let's say, workflow solution or workflow system. What I mean by that is like a pre-press workflow system. Yes, Switch is very well suited to implement an automated pre-press workflow, but it has this unique ability to also connect different solutions, different tool sets, different pieces of hardware that people already have. It's kind of, I would call it like a middleware that connects all the different investments and all the islands of automation that are already out there at most customers. And I think that is a kind of unique position to be in. And it's not always an easy story to bring, because if you're connecting things, what are you really? But that's what we really are about. I think Enfocus is all about that, not only connecting technical things and hardware and software, but also connecting people. And that's why I'm also here today. It's like to walk around, talk to our partners, because many partners, even here at the Label Expo, are using our technology, our PitStop libraries inside their products. And then we have solution partners that are working with Switch, because, for example, Telia Labs has an automated solution for layout in different areas, including labels. And they have a certain level of automation. But when it comes from how can we make that part of the business automation, linking that up to an MIS system that people might have invested in, or e-commerce that many are invested in, there is like where we work together to connect a variety of different vendors, kind of work on an ecosystem of partners. Exactly, because Switch is in itself a quite generic and customizable system. It comes with things like scripting and APIs. However, not everybody is capable or has the time to write scripts or pay for scripts. So what we did is we opened up an app store.
Can you buy games in it?
There are not yet games in there to my
to your knowledge.
to my knowledge, yeah. Maybe there's some Easter egg, but there are all sorts of small and larger applications that do something out of the box. Connect switch to FTP, work with a planning system, drive a certain piece of hardware, and that, I think that's a smart move. Are we making revenue? Are we making money from the App Store? No, not yet. It's growing. It's definitely growing in number of apps and number of users. But our ambition with it is to just make it easy for the customer to connect all the bits and pieces they need to connect, rather than doing that all through programming or complicated setups. There can be different obstacles. It's not a single answer to that, and I tend to see that it depends a bit on the size of the company. We are having a lot of success with Switch in like mid-sized 20 to 100 people. That's already big. Let's say 20 to 50 people shops, print service providers, because they have set aside usually an IT department or a workflow manager that has time to stop the clock and change the process basically. But we're not seeing the same thing at the smaller printers. They just have to produce, and they are too busy to slow down, to say, hey, what would it take to change our way of working, to start automating? And that's the challenge that we see that is often combined also with a money challenge. Even though Switch is an affordable solution, it's not only Switch, it's also the consultant. If you don't have a person in-house that needs to hold your hand, plan the implementation, these people don't do that for free, the system integration. And so if you look at the total package, it's still relatively expensive to step into that. When you get the rewards, the rewards are big, but you get them later. There are two ways that I believe we can help the industry, or let's say the smaller companies who are really struggling to get on this automation journey. There's two ways that we can help them. One is to find some way of selling Switch in a recurring model. We need to be smart about that. And we have demand. Like for example a subscription model or some type of rental model. We have, in some regions, we have early, let's say, trials of that to see how that would work. And secondly is also to scope the projects right. What I mean by that is find together with the customer one piece of the whole puzzle, let's say, of the whole business flow, where the automation gives a fast and immediate ROI, because that then is enough to pay back for the Switch and then to grow from there. Often customers want to boil the ocean, and they see at a show like Label Expo all the possibilities, and they say we need this and we need this rapidly all at once, but then the project becomes too big. Then they are confronted with the whole cost of doing that. Yes, it's possible, but it will take 2 years and it will cost you a lot. And so we try to help the customer to identify the high value pieces in that and start from there. And that tends to work. Of course, when I just joined Enfocus, I had that same question, because I didn't really, I come from ESCO originally, where we have a direct sales model. So I didn't really understand immediately the value of the indirect model. Now that I'm into it, I would say it's the success of Enfocus is really 100% dependent on that channel. No doubt about it. The reason is because we are a far too small company to service all those customers. It's not only about selling, it's also about servicing the customers, advising them, bringing the knowledge in their language, in terms they understand. It is just not an option, and we've built that up. That's an asset of Enfocus that we've built up over like 20 years. I would say that's next to our PDF technologies, which is pretty cool. The power of the indirect model and the channel and the friends we have in that channel, and the loyalty there is in that, I would say that is the power, that is our business.